Right. Can we start? So, we were discussing about internal controls. We had a detailed discussion about audit plan and the plan and what the expectation I have. I hope that people who absent last week and for the update about that. I'm not going to repeat 4 sessions last week here. I straight away start from the point we talked last week, right? People who are joining virtually, are we audible enough? Of that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, anything you want to, if you are facing any difficulty, technical difficulty, let me know so then we can fix from this end. Oh, so otherwise I assume that you are okay, right? So then, if any question once I have conducted the lecture, you can, raise your voice and you can clear it up because this is the extension that I expect that question from you, all right?
Okay, sir. Sure.
Right. So then we have 7 topics, 7 areas to complete. Yeah, in area 1. Area 1 is all about internal control and the governance, right? So it's all governance and internal control frameworks. So as we discussed last week, this is a good very important topic to organization to have good governance and internal control framework. Then as a leader, as a CEO, as a CFO, he's responsible to establish a set of protocols, controls to govern the organization. Govern the organization means govern the organization, maximizing the resources to achieve an objective. That's called good governance, right? To establish that what you want, we need to have a set of controls. The main objective of the topic. Then we have a doubt as in the audit and assurance lecture, why we are worrying about this. In audit and assurance lecture, so as auditor, why we are worrying about this aspect? We discussed about that last week. So we are here to issue audit opinion, right? We are here to issue audit opinion. We are to issue the audit opinion, right? To issue the audit opinion for financial statement, we need to do audit procedures, right? So then we are issuing this opinion for draft financial statement. Draft financial statement. After issuing this, we can add as an audited financial statement. This is the final outcome. We are doing this process to get this outcome. Right? So this is a very useful tool to make decisions to stakeholders, right? So then once you are getting a decision as a stakeholder, Whatever the party you are representing as a regulator or investor or creditor or whatever the party, you are using audited financial statement, right? So then audited financial statement with audit opinion, right? So this audited financial statement, as we discussed, consistent with main two things. What are they? Transactions and disclosures. So then, other than that, there's nothing in the financial statement, right? Financial statement consists with disclosures and account balances. Disclosures and account balances. First two. This is the third one. Disclosures and account balances. You can see from a financial statement different disclosures and account balances, numbers and the words in the financial statement, right? So these two came to the financial statement because of transaction. So we can call that company is operating. That means they are doing transactions. In a year, there may be millions of transactions. Assume in a kind of a bank, then daily they are doing transactions through ATMs, through whatever the supermarkets. Daily, each and every minute, there are transactions, millions of transactions, right? So then these millions of transactions will be summarized to the year-end financial statement with disclosures. So then, as auditor, you have to audit this. You can't audit only the disclosures and account balances. What you have to do? You have to audit the transaction. So the same meaning, right? Once you are doing audit for these account balances and disclosures, you can gather some evidence and cross-check this the number. But auditing transaction is different. As auditor, you have to do both. Otherwise, you have numbers, but you don't know about the logic and the rationalization about the transaction, the business sense of the transaction. So that is the area you need to focus as auditor. So you audit transaction. So once you are auditing transactions, transaction flow consisted with what? Controls. Transactions. Once you are identifying, understanding the concept as auditor, you need to go through the control process. So, simple transaction, payments. Let's say we are paying salary. So that salary should be calculated and that should be approved by the CHRO, the HR officer, and that should be approved by finance CFO, and the payment should be approved by one of the director, small company, right? So then that transaction process, initiation, recording, processing, and reporting, that transaction process consisted with what? Set of controls. So as auditor, we have a responsibility. Before we are going to verify these disclosures and account balances, we need to understand the control framework of the organization, controls of organization. So that is the main idea we have. So then last week we discussed about what is the control, why we are putting that control attributes. So then all the things we have already discussed. So today I am going to discuss, we ended with levels of controls. Levels of controls. Levels of controls. We have a set of controls. Why we are having controls? To mitigate risk. Whatever the control we are putting, the objective is to mitigate risk. Otherwise, we are not putting control. once you are putting control, at the point of mitigating the risk, you need to concentrate about the cost effectiveness of the control. Once you are putting a control, you have to consider the cost. Once that control should be operated, because of that, we should have a cost saving. After mitigating the risk, we should have cost saving. That cost saving, you have to compare with the implementation cost. That net impact should be positive. That is cost effectiveness of the control. If you want to put a control, that should be cost effective. Otherwise, no point to put a control. So then, if you are starting a small company, having like 30 or 25 staff members, so no point to have kind of a fingerprint machine, right? Why? We can manage that risk. If you're having kind of a more than 150 card, then you can put fingerprint machine, right? So then, whatever the cost you are incurring to a control, that should be cost effective. And then that control should be sensitive. What do you mean by sensitive? Can't be a tube light, right? So then, whatever the risk happening, proactively it should be activated. Otherwise, it may be kind of a detective control. That can't be happening. There's a control. With the risk, it should be happening. So then here we have I cap, right? That control එක ඇහැට මොනවා හරි එනවනම් ඇහැ වැහෙනවනේ නේ. ආවට පස්සේ වැහිලාටත් තියෙද? ආවට පස්සේ වැහුනොත් වැහෙන්නේ නැතුව තිබුණත් අවුලක් නැහැ. වහගන්නත් බැහැ. So then like that, if we have a control, that should be very sensitive with the risk. Before risk happening, that control should be activated. So those are some features of the control. Now I'm going to discuss levels of controls, right? As we discussed, in a control we have three different stages: design, implementation, and operation. So we round this and put a asterisk mark and say, to testing this is optional, right? Have you done it? Last week we mentioned that operating effectiveness no need to be tested as auditor. It's not a must, but that's an option to test, right? But as auditor, he has to know the design and implementation effectiveness of the controls in the organization. So then I'm saying that this is optional. This will be clarified in near future. Upon that, you have to put a star mark and put a question mark. Why is that? Then we can refer once we are getting exact knowledge at that point. If I'm explaining that here, may be very complex, right? So here we have levels of controls. Levels of controls. We have accession level and the financial statement level. In audit also, we have different levels. Once you are conducting assurance engagement, that engagement per se, we have different levels. What are they? Accession level and the financial statement level. Once you are taking decisions, we are taking two levels of decisions. Some of the decision relates to accession level. Some of the decision relates to financial statement level. What is that? As auditor, we are taking decision for overall financial statement. Some of the decision we are taking for only for that balance, only for that assessment. Different decisions we have to make in a field. So then we need to know what's the level we are taking this decision. Accordingly, we can decide our material levels as well. This is bit complex to understand. The levels of a decision, levels of controls, right? I want to further explain this. What do you mean by this word? Assistance, you know about that? Assistance level. Before we understanding assistance level controls, we need to understand these levels. You know that we have levels in our lives, right? O level, A level. Likewise, to make decisions, to make easier process, we should have levels. In organization also we have levels, operational level, strategic level. So your degree also having levels, first year, second year, likewise. Chartered also having levels, strategic level, operational level. Why are having levels? To make life easy, to make decisions, to address different levels. Right? So in a organization, we have two different levels, assistant levels and financial statement levels. By assistant level, you know that part, right? And give me some examples. We have time all the time. Have you got data sign करा? No, that's one. Kamu katakan ambil dari assistance. Well, assistance dana kachi. Assuming that we have people who doing auditing, with experience, some of them may be audit expert, right? So then you should support to me conduct the lecture. You can share your experience, you can argue with me. So assistance, what do you mean by that? This one. Accuracy. Completeness. Identification. Yes. Correct. Presentation. Those are the things we need. Assistance. Who's the person responsible for that? The management. Management is responsible for that. You mean by assistant? Assistant is paid. So as I discussed previously, financial statement consists with two main things: down balance and disclosure. Down balance and disclosure. So this financial statement, this set of financial statement, share by the management to the public. Public means stakeholders, right? Stakeholders. So then, management publishing, management sharing this information to the public. To this financial statement, they are giving some communication. They are giving some, information to the public as at this date, or for this period, we have this balance. We have this much of revenue. We have this much of cash. As at the year end, we have this much of inventory. That is the message they are giving to the public. That So then in the balance sheet, we have PP&E balance this much. They are telling to the public as at that day, we have this much of PP&E. It may be consistent in land, building, furniture and fittings, some other things, right? So then that's the general understanding. If we are going in depth to that, they are giving some more details to the public. What is that? That is called assistance. So then as at that date, they are telling that, let's say we have 2 million PP&E. 2 million PP&E in the balance sheet. That is clear, right? You all know that 2 million PP&E in the balance sheet. You can visualize. The balance sheet is done at the balance sheet is done at the ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒ මිනවල මම කියන්න. මම එතනින් පටන් ගන්නවා. Balance sheet එක කියන්නේ මෙහෙම කියලා. I assume that you know the balance sheet. You can visualize where is this balance, right? 2 million PP&E. Under 2 million PP&E, as a management, you are giving some messages to the public. What is that? As at this reporting date, as at the year end, we have 2 million PP&E. That is, we are ensuring, we are communicating you as this is complete. We have disclosed here all the complete assets. That is called completeness. 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 What do you mean by that? All the assets are there. It means we have not recorded other assets. Other assets related to other owner. We have not recorded here. Other thing is, we have recorded all the assets owned by us. We have not missed anything. So that is called completeness. In other words, here we have no excess asset, no deficit asset. Whatever the asset we have disclosed here. That is called completeness. That's the one message we are giving to this balance. Once you are reading financial statement, that is the message you are getting in as a user. Right? Then again, they are telling that all the 2 million assets we have disclosed here, the existence is there. It's excess asset. So then we have not disclosed any asset. The asset reported date we have not acquired yet. We have not exist. We have not developed that asset. So then if it is so, existence will be paid. If you are not acquired or if you are not developed it. So the old asset existence we are giving as an assurance. Accession, right? And then valuation. Valuation means whatever the asset we have disclosed here, value is correct. Let's say we have a land inside this. It's land maybe, let's say, very remote area. So then it's around 500,000, right? 500,000 land. So the land price is exactly matched with the fair value. So then we have given this land 500,000, that is the exact value. So then what we are telling? The valuation of the asset is correct. The value we have given to these assets is correct. That's the one message. And then again, right and obligation. We have the right over this asset. We have deed and whatever the source document related to this asset to use this. We are the owners, right? We are the owners. On top of that, we have the control. We don't need the ownership. We just want the control. You agree with me? To regularize asset, what's asset definition as per one? As a past event, we are acquiring a resource with the expectation of future economic benefit. Today we have the control over that Not the ownership, right? We don't want ownership. So then under here, underneath that, all the control we have, right? Over the control we have. It's called right and application. Okay. And then presentation and disclosure. Presentation and disclosure of 2 million we have done according to LK 16. We are complied with the accounting standard. So that's why we have disclosed as a 2 million as a PP&E. So with this balance, these are the messages given by the management to the public. So then, to this balance included here in the draft financial statement. Draft financial statement, right? So it's an element, one account balance of the draft financial statement. So then as auditor, what we have to do? We are going to issue an opinion on this draft financial statement. So then what we have to do? We are going to check these assertions before we are issuing the opinion. So then here we are, once we are issuing the audit opinion, it's creating a risk. What's the risk? Management telling that to the public, these assertions are there. So what's the risk? This assertion may be inaccurate. There's a risk. How to ensure that existence is correct? How to ensure that valuation is correct? That's the auditor's risk. Auditor having a risk to issue the audit opinion. Management saying that this is complete, this is exist, this is according to the LK 16. But we have a doubt, we have a risk, we have expectation, but the expectation from the deviation we call as risk. That is called audit risk. Audit risk related to the assertions, right? Assertion level risk. So the management saying this is there, but we have a doubt whether that's accurate or not. So then for that, what we have to do? We have to gather adequate audit evidence to test this assertion is there or not before we are issuing the opinion. That's simple logic, right? Management issuing a set of financial statement, it consists with account balances and disclosures. Account balance and disclosures, through account balance and disclosure, they are giving a message to the public that is called assertions. Before we are issuing the audit opinion, we need to ensure that these assertions are there or not. That is called assurance. We hope that you are comfortable with the assertions. We'll discuss that in detail, but here I want to emphasize this meaning. Assertion level. So in the financial statement, we have a levels. Here we are discussing the assertion level, right? Assertion level. So then, financial statement, we have overall financial statement level. Overall financial statement level and the assertion level. And the assertion level. If there is an impact to the financial statement for each and every element, there's an issue that will impact to the each and every element of the financial statement. Each and every element, it will impact to the cash flow, equity statement, balance sheet, P&L, and any balances. So there's an issue which impact to all the areas. So that is called that's impact to the overall financial statements. So then keep attention. This is difficult to understand, right? So then this is not a physics or chemistry. We can't go out and see. We can't do testing in the classroom. But this is about financial accounting and auditing, right? So then what we can do is maximum maybe we can go to the stock exchange and see financial statement. Okay. So then overall financial statement may be impacted because of a issue. So some issue may impact only to this existence action. There may be issue will impact to the existence action of the PP&E. So then we can understand. So this matter happen to the that impact to the overall financial statement as well as to the some of the issues are there. It will impact to the only the assistant. So likewise, once you are taking decisions that will impact to the overall financial statement, some of them are impact to the only for this assistant. Again, I am explaining, right? So the not the PP&E balance, but it's inventory. Inventory. It's let's say 1.2 million, right? 1.2 million. So again, this is asset balance, asset. So like PP&E, this also having accessions. Also having accessions, right? So what are the same accessions? Existence, valuation, and then the completeness of inventory we want. All the inventory items we have recorded. Whatever the inventory in outside locations, outstations, and the good in transit, everything we have been recorded. That's completeness. We have not recorded here as inventory the already sold bill and hold inventory. Bill and hold means already sold out, and holding until the removed by the customer. We are keeping that in the office, but we are not included that to the inventory. That is completeness, right? So then here we have accessions. We have accessions, existence, again valuation, right and obligation likewise. So then in this organization, we have a storekeeper. Because of some issue with this storekeeper, he will come for work like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He is absent to his job. Now we don't have any alternative person for this keep the store. So then we don't have storekeeper for this 2 weeks. So that's the issue, right? That issue will impact to this balance. To this balance, which accession? Existence accession. So then, is there any impact to the cash balance? Any impact to the PP&E balance? No. So then that's directly impact to the accession, only one accession. This issue impact to the only one accession. This is called accession level issue, or accession level impact, or accession level control issue. So then, having this unavailability of this person, its impact to the financial statement only for one balance, inventory balance. You can say that indirectly that will impact to the cash balance, that will impact to the sales, but directly impact only to the inventory balance. Inventory one accession. So this is not impact to the contingent liability, salaries. There's no impact. So this is a element which impact the accession levels of a financial statement. But then again, I'm telling another issue. So then they are using a system. To that system, recently we identified that once they are passing a double entry, it will be duplicated sometimes. It will be duplicated through the system. So once you are making a payment for, let's say, electricity payment or something like that, that will be duplicated. We can't identify at what time it's happening, so the normal is duplicating. So then that's the issue, right? So that issue may be impact on each and every element of the financial statement. That's the issue will impact to the overall financial statement. So then here we have an issue which impact to the assessment level, one balance. So then that understanding you should have about that understanding. So as auditor, we have to take decisions to the balance level as well as to the overall financial statement level. So the simple, some of the issues will impact to the only to the assessment, only to the balance. Some issues may impact to the overall financial statement. Likely, in your home, in your close circle, that may happen. Some of the issues in your house may impact to overall people, overall family members, right? One main gate taker, hari roof taker hari. Seminal තමයි group එක තියෙන්නේ. ඒක ඔයාටත් බලපානවා කාටත් බලපානවා. overall house level control එක main gate එක තියෙන්නේ. right? ඔයාගේ සාප්පුවේ ඉලක්ක තියෙනවා. ඒක ඔයාට බලපාන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයාට විතරයි බලපාන්නේ නේ. control එක. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාගේ room එකේ draw එකේ අතුර ඕන කෙනෙක්ට අරින්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ යතුරක් නැත්තම් ඒකේ ඉම්පැක්ට් එකේ වාට විතරයි. So the person based control එක. Not impact to the overall house. Right? So then whatever the area you are discussing, there are levels that may be very small level and the lower level as well as the overall level. So then in the financial statement, here we have assessment level as well as the financial statement. It's clear, two words, right? So then, once you are having this assessment level and the overall financial statement level, we have same set of controls in organization. Some of the control will impact directly to the assessment level. Who are implementing that? Management is going to implement. Why? They are responsible to these assessments. To ensure that the existence of these assessments, they are implementing assessment level controls. To establish set of overall financial statement level controls, they are implementing overall financial statement level controls. Right? So then, if you have list of controls, you should have kind of understanding what's the assessment level controls, what are the financial statement level controls. Because of this control, this will impact to the many balances, many elements, right? If it is always an overall financial statement level control. So likewise, within the control framework, control mix, we can divide controls as financial statement level controls and the assessment level controls. So that's clear. So once you are continuing auditing, you need to know, you need to clearly understand what are the assessment level controls, what are the financial statement level controls. In the planning stage, we do activities testing internal controls, entity level control, ELC. At the entity level control testing, what we are doing? We are firstly identifying entity level controls. Before we are going to the assessment level, at the point of planning stage, we need to have kind of an understanding about overall financial statement level controls as auditor. Firstly, we need to identify that. So then only, once you are starting the audit, we can go to the assessment level. ගෙදරකට යනවා ගෙදර යනකොටම මේ ගේට් එකම නැත්තම් ඒක මතන්නේ නේ ඔය ඇතුළට ගිහින් බලන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔය overall financial statement level control නැහැ කියලා හිතනවා නම් why you are going worrying about the assessment level? නේද? ගෙදර වහලක් නැතුව ඔය කාමරේ ලොක් එක තිබිලා වැඩක් නැහැ නේ. We should have a mix of controls in organization. Assessment level and the overall financial statement level control should be there. It's a kind of a mix, right? Okay, I hope that's clear. And then we discussed about control attributes last week. No, I hope we discussed. Once you are planning, once you are establishing a control framework, you need to focus about design, implementation, operation. About what? About control attributes. Control designing is what? How we are going to define? Control design. Designing the control attributes of a control. That is control design. Have we discussed that? We discussed that අපේ ATM එකේ මේක ගන්නවද සල්ලි ගන්න එක ගැන කතා කරා දැන් කාඩ් එක පස්සේ තමයි එන්නේ කියලා කතා කරනවා. It's about control design. So then if there's a issue relating to that control, we need to redesign it. So then who is responsible for that? Game management, key responsible parties, they should have kind of evaluation and do kind of a cost effectiveness valuation and change the design. Then after changing, you need to implement, you need to operate accordingly. Then again, here we have another type, application controls, IT dependent manual controls, totally manual controls. So these are type of controls. So then here we don't have that. Sometimes we can divide centralized controls, decentralized controls. What do you mean by that? You have a branch network, island-wide locations. Some of the controls we can decentralize. Some of the controls centralize. So the majority of the controls may be governed through the head office. According to the practical reason, some of the things we have delegated to branch level. So then branch level, so outstation level controls, we can say that decentralized controls and the centralized controls. To give an example. So we have Pizza Hut island-wide, right? Pizza Hut there. Pizza Hut වල cash ගන්න ඕන head office එකෙන්ම කියලා කිව්වොත් කොහොමද නේ? Pizza Hut එකේ cash ගෙදර ඉඳන් order කරලා එතනින්ම deliver කරන කෙනාට cash ගන්න. You can see that decentralization has been done to the person level, right? So not from the head office, not from the outstation location, but from the person who are going to the to the transaction. He can get cash directly. So imagine they have restricted this control to the head office. Outstation එකකට cash collect කරන්න බැරි නෑ. ඊසා කාලා bill එක දින සල්ලි ගේන වෙනවා head office එකට. That practical? No, that is not that. So then we need to decentralize controls, centralized controls, right? So they have centralized control. What are they? They are ordering this, materials and those things they do centrally. Why? නැත්තම් ගමින්ම බඩු ගන්න කියලා තිබුණොත් කොහොමද? ඕටෝල දේවල් වල පීසා හදන්නේ. So they have to maintain that quality. To that, what they have done. So they have centralized some of the controls, decentralized some of the controls. We need to identify. So what are the centralized controls and the decentralized controls as an auditor? Right? Okay. So if you want to be kind of a CFO or CEO, that control mechanism, the set of controls, control mix, to be managed, right? You are the person responsible. You CEO mean 90%. What's your duty? To establish proper control mix and operate it. That's all responsibility. And the remaining 20% is the reporting part maybe. If you have done your works for design, operation and reporting, your annual duty is done. You can enjoy. You can enjoy your bonus, right? That's all about what? Design, operation and implementation of control. What else? So then we can, once you are having this set of controls, we can call as control framework, right? In an organization, we should have a fixed control framework. And why we should have a control framework? These are the answers. So then here you can put another 10 items and put some of other things according to your understanding. These are the things came to my mind, and I did some research and I summarize here. So the mitigate business risk, establish processes, improves process performance, yes, improves operational efficiency, keep duties separated, produce timely financial statements, reduce misstatements, improve accountability. Because of that, you should have a set of controls. Mitigate business risk. As I said, management is responsible for controls. Management is responsible for control. Controls, right? Management putting controls to what? Why they are putting controls? To address the business risk. To address the business risk. Are they putting controls as the audit risk? No. Controls are in auditors to depend on another. No. That is not the objective. That's a byproduct. That's the outcome. So the ones auditors asking some questions and all, we can show what is the available controls. If they are putting controls to show to the auditors, maybe if they fail, they have to establish proper set of controls to address the business risk. What do you mean by business risk? You know risk, right? Expectation from the deviation. And business, you may have expectation. What's that? Expectation. What is that? We have goals, missions, and objectives. We have set of business objectives, right? To doubt of achieving this business objective goal as business risk. Why we are having business risk? Because of competition or the economic sanction, the political pressure. So the different aspect may impact to the business risk. To mitigate the business risk, what they are putting, what they are taking action mean, they are putting controls. Are they putting management is going to put controls to reduce this business risk to zero? That logical? They don't. Are they want to reduce the business risk zero? No. If they want to reduce the business risk zero, their return may be zero. Why? Without a risk, how we can earn? High risk, high return. So then, whatever the possible risk appetite, you need to play within that. Otherwise, you can't earn profit. Right? Whatever the risk, if you can't bear, those are the risks you need to put controls. Keep in mind those things, small things. Not all about auditing. That's all about commerce, business, accounting, not about entrepreneurship. Okay. Others are very straightforward. Produce financial statement, reduce the statements through accountability, duties. Yes. If duties separated through this, we have 4I principle. What do you mean by 4I principle? By using spectacles, we are seeing 4I principle. So the whatever the approval, whatever the task, if we can use 2 people, so we are using 4I. As they we are using 4I to get this done. We are using 2 persons, so then the misstatement probability may be reduced. So then we have the promoting 4I principle in between 2 departments. In between 2 departments, 4I principle. Right. 4I principle in one department may be biased, right? Because you have a department head. You have a junior executive. He preparing, he's going to approve. Right? So then ultimately is responsible for this person. The department head controlling this person. So the putting, we have 4I principle here, 2 people, but then again within the department mean this person having the whole control. Right? So that's why once you are processing this salary expense, what are the controls we discussed? So the CHRO, Chief HR Officer, should approve. Then finance department should approve the payment. So the payment will be released from the finance department. So then HR people, without any support from finance, they can't do the payment. So then what's the control we have? So the as a CHRO, we can't put bogus people to the payroll by putting his or her account number. We can't process payments. The putting account numbers responsible for the finance department. So that we have delegated the authority. We have department level 4I principle. That's the nature of super controllers. Right? If duty is separated, okay. So these are the areas we need proper set of controls. There are a few areas. We can put some more. Manual activities, yes. High liquidity areas. Related party transactions. High liquidity areas. What is that? High liquidity areas. Cash. Yes, very correct. So then cash is asset. Cash is asset. Right. Let's say 5,000 note. Asset. Building is also asset. Building also asset. So in a balance sheet, both are assets, right? As a result of past event, we have the control, huge economic increase, that and that, etc. etc. So that we have 2 assets. This also having accessions. This also having accession. This also having accession. Same accession. Here this 5,000 always having existence. Existence. Valuation. Right and obligation. Presentation and disclosure. Completeness. Building also same. Valuation. Existence. Completeness. Presentation and disclosure. Same accessions. but the risk of accession level may be different. Then here these accessions given by the management to the public. So then here the risk of accession, whether this accession is there or not, that's a risk, right? So then existence of cash differs with the existence of the building. Here, same accession, same asset category. Keep your attention. This is very important. Same asset, set of accessions are same, but the risk level of accession is different. Existence of cash, existence of building. So you are keeping a 5,000 note here. Why? Happens at the end of the 5,000 note is existence is a doubt, right? Very sensitive because it's a high liquid area. Doubtful. Hotel building එක තියෙනවා. ඔයා ලබන සතියේ වෙන බලනකොට hotel building එක exit වෙනවා. හරිද? hotel building එක කවුරුත් උස්සන්නේ නැහැ. Are you okay? So then here we have table and chairs here, table here. Make a ussali නැහැ කවුරුත්. හැබැයි මෙතන 5000 note worth එක clean කරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? So the existence will be depend on the asset category. Risk depend on the asset category. How about the valuation? How about the valuation? What's the value about the value of the 5,000 note? The value 5,000. It's not different from you to you. You are telling 5,000. You also telling 5,000. How about the value of that hotel building? Makin bukan hotel lain balan itu value kian bad. Balan lawan value kai, balan value kai different. So then, as auditor, is creating a risk. The valuation is the risk for building, not the existence. So then, you can understand what I'm telling. Accession level risk maybe depends on the asset. Depends on the asset. Accordingly, we need to decide your audit procedures. Once you are deciding audit procedures for building, are you focusing about existence? No, you have to focusing about the valuation. Once you are planning audit procedures for this cash and bank, are you focusing about valuation? No, you have to focus about existence. You need to focus about valuation if you have foreign currency. Foreign currency conversion may be impact to the valuation, right? If you have foreign currency. Otherwise, focus on history. So as a management also, you need to fix controls according to the liquidity areas. So that if you are putting liquidity related controls for less liquidity items, maybe inefficient. Focus. You need to identify the reason for putting controls, high risk areas, right? Complex calculation like ROUA calculation, deferred tax, valuation, gratuity calculation, insurance contract liability calculation, valuation of biological assets. What else? Port contract, financial statement, amortization, right? Those things are very complex. Goodwill valuation, goodwill impairment, right? Estimates, judgments, high value items. So then areas, more misstatements. According to the experience, that area may have more misstatements. If it is so, we need to have effective controls. These are some of the examples. Related parties. What do you mean by that? Who are the related parties? In financial reporting, we have parties related to the entity. We need to identify that. Something. Associate. Yes. What else? Management. Yes. AMP. Yes. Common derivatives. Correct. AMPs plus those family members of their AMP. AMP is the CEO, CFO, directors, CFO, AMP. AMP can count. Directors, right? CEO, AMP, CFO, AMP. Subsidiaries, associate joint ventures, those are related parties. For the key management persons, the CEO and CFO. CFO not a key management. CEO is a key management. Right? So we have a definition, right? Right? So you can see key management persons. Key management personnel are those personnel having authority, responsibility for planning, directing, and controlling activities of the entity. Activities of the entity. So this is the word activities. So this is the letter. It's deciding whether CEO or CFO can be classified as KFP. CFO responsible for only financial activity, not activities, right? So the planning, directing, and controlling activities means CEO, not CFO, right? So this S leads to drop CFO as a KMP. Very sharp. accounting standard are very, sharp about that definitions, right? Then related party transaction. So then under related party transaction, you have to focus about recognition, measurement, and disclosure. 3 areas. So the why we worrying about this related party transaction? Why we are putting controls over this recognition, measurement, and disclosure? We need to carefully recognize who are the related parties, and then we need to measure it. Accordingly, we need to disclose all those things. Why we need to focus about this that much? Because under related party relationship, we may not have the fair value. So then many fraudulent transactions can be happened within these related parties. So then that will impact to the stakeholder decisions. So then as a company, as a public listed company, so that we are dealing with public money, right? So then having set of controls. Let's say if we are having a hotel chain in a listed company, so by issuing shares to the public, we have a hotel chain here. So then through hotel chain, all the directors and their family members enjoying here, right? We are not disclosing. So then we are giving high discounts to them. It is so it's a benefit to related parties that should be disclosed. This is really important. So as auditor, this is the area we need to focus. Related party transaction. If it is a related party, the fair value of the transaction and the realistic, the business value of the transaction may be impacted because of the relationship. So then what we have to do? For this type of areas, we need to have proper set of controls. Internal control system. I said, so this is one of the key internal control system we have also. We need to have kind of a control culture in the organization. We need to establish a control system. So that should be consistent control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication, and monitoring activities. These are the elements of the course of framework. Control environment. The environment should support to the controls. And the risk assessment function should be there. For the control environment, that facilities should be there, that culture should be there, control culture, right? So then we need to have risk assessment function. Without assessing the risk, we can't put controls. Then only you can put controls here. So once you are assessing the risk, you need to assess the accession level risk and the overall level risk. Both this should be assessed. So then risk assessment, risk department is the kind of a department currently we are discussing about. Main organizations, they are having a now separate department called risk department. What they are doing? They do the risk evaluation, risk prediction. The possible coming risk may be evaluated. So the risk assessment function. So according to the assessed risk, we are putting controls. That controls may be depend on the assessed risk. So then information and communication. That's really important. So then evaluate these activities, communicate this risk. The information is a key source. IMS. We have separate department called IMS. What do you mean by that? Management Information System. So then they are producing management information, analyzing data analytics. Through this information, they do risk assessment. Right? And then they have to communicate properly. And the monitoring activity should be there. So these are the elements in the control culture, control framework. So then, if you are having this set of controls, set of systems, very easy to govern, easy to conduct, right? You are having information, you do communicate properly, and then monitoring function is there. Monitoring is what? We have a risk. We have a risk. We put control. Then what do you mean by monitoring? We need to monitor this control, whether it's operating or not. The other word for controlling is what? Control on the control. Control on control. What do you mean by that? Control on control. So then there's a control. All the 200, more than 200,000 payments, 200,000 payment should be authorized by CFO. That's a control, right? Control. So then again, we are asking a question from the management at the year end. How you can ensure that all the transactions have been approved by the CFO, or the more than 200,000 transactions have been approved by the CFO? What's the control you have to ensure? So they are telling that no, we have communicated to that. So we have done a kind of a communication to him to approve all the things, and they are daily job description also containing this responsibility. Because of that, we are pretty sure that all the transactions more than 200,000 have been authorized by the CFO. So that is not a good answer, right? I'm asking, have you checked that more than 200,000 transactions, all the things have been approved? So then for that, what we have to do? For this, we have to have another control. What is that? To check this control, what we have to do? We have to run all the 12-month transactions. All the 12-month transactions. And what we have to do? We have to sort more than 200 transactions and check the approval column. So then, if the CFO are not there here, we need to identify what are the transactions more than 200,000 they have not been approved, right? So then we can say that yes, we had a control, and then again we have a control on control to check this. Accordingly, we have done this control test monitoring activity at the year end, and accordingly we can conclude that all the transactions have been approved by the CFO. That is about monitoring, control and control. Right? In a control framework, this mechanism should be there. Are you okay? This is the idea. So after the lunch hour, it's very difficult, right? The battle. One is going to strike and no, we're not striking. But that's easy. So, but you need to do that. So here we have a question. Does auditor test all the controls? Does auditor test all the controls? Do we? No. We need to test the controls which relates to financial statement. Control which relate impact to the financial statement should be tested by the auditor. Right? Should be tested by the auditor. Should be tested by the auditor. What should be tested? Design, implementation, and operation. Auditor must take this design and implementation. Operation effectiveness is an option. Right? You need to have a good clarity. Control is related, impact to the financial statement should be tested by the auditor. We can say the design and operating effectiveness of the control of which impact to the financial statement should be tested by the auditor. The operation effectiveness may be optional. So that you can decorate this statement. You have a proper understanding. Right. Okay. Break. Break. Can interpret the break like how can you interpret? You can go out that town, can get a break here. You want a break? So then I can't you can know the 1 hour, 30 minutes break. Maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes break. Otherwise, boring or no. Kind of a, it is corporate reporting, may not be boring. Always numbers. But here, theoretical content, be typical. You can get a break like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't, go well, 30 minutes break, right? Makanya gila tidak break. Udah mau. You can't use that break for picnic or something like that. You can just go to the washroom and go out and come. Okay. Well, come back. So again, we have another 1 hour to complete this and start another session, another area. So here we are discussing why we need to focus about control testing. So that assess the adequacy of the accounting system. As a leader, we need to test controls, right? Identify potential misstatements. We need to consider about the controls. And risk of misstatements. As auditor, we need to evaluate the risk of misstatements, right? So then we need to check these controls. And according to this risk assessment, we need to design appropriate audit procedures. So then we need to control testing. The control is a very key element to get understand about the organization. Organization, let's say, it's a very important part of organization. So then, if you want to start a company or if you want to be a part of organization, majority of the things related to the controls, whatever the processes, so then transactions, all about controls. So the operation of a business mean, so the operation of set of controls. So then as an auditor who is responsible for the audit opinion, we need to focus about these areas, right? So then as we discussed, as auditor, we have a risk, right? What's the risk? Audit risk. What's the risk we have? We are supposed to issue audit opinion. The risk of issuing error opinion, incorrect opinion. This is the audit risk. So that audit risk may create because of two different reasons. One is risk of material misstatement, right? Other one is detection risk. The one is detection risk. Risk of material misstatement and the detection risk. So then what is the meaning of this? What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? So then here we have, so this audit risk creates on the audit opinion. Audit opinion, we are issuing to the draft financial statement, right? Draft financial statement. This draft financial statement prepared by the management. Draft financial statement came from the business, right? So then audit risk may be addressed through the risk created from the business and risk created from the auditor. In this process, we have two parties mainly. It's a tri-party arrangement. Who are the two parties? Management and the auditor. Management and the auditor. Management and the auditor. So then there may be risk created from the management. There may be risk created from the. So both risk impact to the audit risk. Right? So then here, after going through the control framework, so the auditor can Evaluate the potential misstatements. Potential misstatement, risk of misstatements can be evaluated to identify the controls. And it's the risk of giving the interval. Right? My expectation is what? Start the lecture within 5 or 10 minutes. The deviation from the expectation is the risk. That depends on two parties. For the two parties, lecturer and the it's also same. We have two parties. It's called material itself related to the management and detection is related to the auditor. Because of two parties, the main objective may be deviated. That's called audit risk. Right? Coordinate and create a group for update. Then I can easily do communication to that particular group in live easy. So can create a group from now. Really look at create a group. And then whatever the updates I can give to the WhatsApp group. So then I have already updated this LMS in this right level and whatever the other materials, putting documents, practical documents will be uploaded later. This topic. I'm always sharing practical documents, the live what it works, how it happens, how we can do analytics, how we can document it. So what are the templates we are using? I can share with you all. Then that will help you to understand the real scenario, right? Otherwise, it's the kind of area very difficult to understand. So what we were discussing was giving a risk of giving an interval. Then it might impact to deviate the whole objective. Credit risk. Credit risk equal to risk of material misstatement. Last for thick detection risk. Risk of material misstatement. So material misstatement can be divided into inherent risk, control risk, right? Inherent risk and the control risk. Plus detection risk. So this is called credit risk. What are the elements of audit risk? Inherent risk, control risk, and the detection risk. Then I'm explaining this. What do you mean by audit risk? So the issuing a correct audit opinion. Opinion to the financial statement. Our objective is what? To issue a audit opinion. The risk is issuing incorrect audit opinion to the financial statement. So the audit risk means that when deviation from the expectation is what? Objective is what? Issuing a correct assurance report. Risk is deviation from it. Right? To that deviation, mainly two things in impact. One element from management side. Management side. So company side. Right? So other aspect from auditor side. Because of auditor's mistake, this opinion can be erroneous. Because of the high misstatements of the organization, that opinion can be impacted. Right? So then the management side can be divided into two. What is that? Internal risk and the control risk. Internal risk and the control risk. What do you mean by internal risk? Inherent risk. Inherent risk. At the zero level of controls, if you can identify default risk, that is called inherent risk. So without before you are implementing as a management, before they are implementing controls, So they can identify what are the risk areas, inherent risk areas. Inherently, there is a risk related with that asset. What is that? Cash for the existence, there's an inherent risk of that asset, right? If you are developing, if you are building that kind of a iron type of house in the down south, the Malakadana risk is not there. That's a risk. Inherent risk is there. So then, if you are doing lengthy calculation related to deferred tax calculation or cash flow evaluation or something like that, so there's a risk to come up with a different answer. Valuation, high risk. Inherent risk areas are there. If you are dealing with gold, there's an inherent risk. Inherent risky areas are there in the business. Inherent risk what are there? Inherent risk. We have inborn issues, inborn talent theory, inborn personal theory. Full out full out inherent personal theory. Inherent limitation එකක් තියෙනවා නම් මම මොකද කරන්න ඕන? ඒකට you have to put controls. Inherently කොහොමද තරහ යනවා නම් you can by default ඔයාලට පොඩ්ඩක් නැත්නම් you get it nervous no you get angry. So then what you have to do? But ඒක මමයිටම තමයි කියලා ඔෆිස් එකේ ඉන්න පුළුවන්. Adopt to the office culture, right? So then what you have to do? You have to put some controls over there. Firstly, you should identify what is the inherent limitation. If you don't know, that's a disaster. You should know what is the limitation you have. What's the inherent limitation you have. So then you are putting control over that. Now, I explain for what? It's for the inherent limitation. If you don't know, you are not putting a control. So whatever the limitation you have, inherent limitation, you are putting control responsible by the management. Putting control means you are designing control, implementing control, and operating control. Or inspectors hadala, now inspector hadu tana nan diyenne. Or design kalla vitara inspector said. You have not implemented, you are not putting there. If it is not, the inherent limitation again coming in. Right? So then, these two aspects will be responsible by the management. For inherent risk and the control risk in what? You are putting the control, the risk is what? Once you are putting the control, you have expectation. What is that? Because this control, inherent limitation may be eradicate of control. If you are not doing this control properly, that inherent risk again coming in. That is the risk. So then, control risk is what? Putting the control, we expect to design well or implement well or operate well, but it's not happening. That's the control risk. We are putting control for inherent risk, but it's not happening. That's control risk. So the all together we call as risk of misstatement. Because of that, there's a risk of misstatement. Then again, auditor side we have detection risk. Because of auditor side, auditor also a human being, he can do some mistakes or negligence or some conclusion, judgment errors, inexperience. Because of that, they can do some mistakes. So altogether, audit opinion may be correct. That's called audit risk. To control testing, you can cover this area. can cover this area. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. So assess the, identify the types of potential misstatements that could occur in the count and consider fact effect and risk of misstatements. To control testing, we can check these things. Design appropriate audit procedures. According to the assessed risk, we can design audit procedures. Okay. So that's a benefit, purpose of performing control testing as auditor. Hope this is clear. Then I have mentioned here as example, because of as organization, with the economical changes, with the environmental business changes, we need to adjust our controls. Otherwise, we can't say that this is a set of controls, we can't deviate from that. We need to have kind of a volatility, flexibility over the controls. So then, as an example is in the COVID period, right? COVID period. Right. COVID period, these are the things we focus in. We change our business processes for physicality to virtuality, right? So then we change our meetings, physical meeting to virtual meetings. We were tempted to use Teams, WebEx, Zoom meetings, right? So then virtual private networks were used, and then voice over IP, and then remote conferencing, firewalls, and endpoint protection, backups, and remote workplaces, and then video conferencing. Many options were used for the business processes because of a pandemic. So then likewise, I want to highlight it. If there's a kind of a difficulty or challenge in the business environment, your control system should be react to that. And parallelly, you have to focus about the future, and the risk department should predict this risk. And before the happening the issue, they need to take actions. So then whatever the risk coming in, we need to be very ready for that. So some of the organizations, they predicted once this pandemic happening in China, so then they bought this whatever the IT infrastructure. So then they bought some laptops and they accommodated to work from home facility before happening, right? So then they the visualize the future. So then that part of the risk assessment. They plan the future, they assess the risk, and accordingly they put controls. So likewise, the control system should be react to the changes in the environment. That may be natural disasters, economic sanctions, political situations, regulatory changes, IT changes, different set of impacts. As a whole, the company should react. It means control system should be sensitive with the outside challenges. Otherwise, company can't be survived. Physically, we can't survive in this environment, right? You need to run the business. Some of the things we can't do. So then we can't do 100% virtual, because we need to have physical movements and physical signatures. Some of the things we can't do. Majority we can do. Because of that, in my experience in our office, now we have only the 2/3 of shares for the department. So that's compulsory. The department, majority 60% should work from home. So the week, we have to work to the for 2 days, and the 3 days work from home. So that's the culture. That's called hybrid model. Hybrid model. That's saving many cost, much cost to the organization because we don't need to accommodate more people. So it's saving electricity, space, and all other things. So it's a cost saving. So then those are the very positive things. We can change with the environmental changes. We can react. So here we have a conclusion about controls. That effective internal controls mitigate risk and lead to achieving business objectives and goals by addressing business risk. It's not about audit risk, business risk, right? So that's why they have internal controls that should be effective. Which effective? Design, implementation, and operation should be effective. Then only they can mitigate risk. So they can be reduced to the zero. No need to reduce to the zero. Only mitigate risk and lead to achieving the business objectives and goals. Right? The goals and business objectives and goals. Through that, they can address the business risk. So then whole equation is management is responsible to establish a control mechanism in the company. That control mechanism should be included different set of controls. What are they? Application and IT dependent manual, centralized, decentralized, preventive, detective, accession level, overall financial statement level, control should be there in an organization. That should be designed, implement, and operate properly. For that, an organization should have a proper framework with a proper communication, proper information, proper risk assessment with control environment and monitoring function. That will lead to a company to have a good governance. Right? That's all about this area. As auditor, before you are verifying your disclosure and account balances, you have to focus about what? Control testing, control evaluation. It is important to focus about implementation and design. It's a must as auditor, but the operation effectiveness testing is optional, right? All about the financial related controls. That's the auditor's duty. So as a summary, as auditor, you have to focus about design and implementation effectiveness of the control is related to the financial statements, right? According to a audit strategy, you can focus the operating effectiveness of the controls as well. That's all about your audit strategy. That's about first area. I hope you got the understanding with practical examples, right? So then that will lead to have a good audit plan and risk assessment and audit execution and conclusion. So any concern or doubts, you can ask. Hope you don't have anything. I can start the next session. Next area. Actually, most of the areas Here we have already discussed, but I can discuss again. Right? Here we are planning, discuss audit planning and risk assessment. Audit planning and risk assessment. So here, basically, in audit, we have 3 stages: planning, execution, and conclusion. Right? So the audit planning and risk assessment goal, we can say that overall audit plan. How we are going to plan an audit. Audit planning. It may be a new audit or a recurring audit. Recurring audit. New audit or recurring audit? Recurring audit. The last year audit also same audit first. Ongoing, we are doing the audit or new audit. So the whatever the situation, you need to do the planning and discussing. What you have to do first? Planning and risk assessment. Right. What you have to do first? Plan करना risk की assess करना तो risk की assess करना plan करना. और एक ट्रिप पे आप क्या करो? फिर आप क्या करते हैं? risk की बात तीनों आए चेंजर बुलाने में देखे रहते हैं. ये बोले. क्या ना? करे. ट्रिप पे आप क्या ना? Happy. नहीं. Medical vehicles here. You have outlined or something like that. That's the vehicle dispute, right? So the before planning your trip, you need to design your vehicle. So then risk should be assessed first, and then planning activity should be conducted according to the risk. Or risk के benefit के plan के benefit है तो और I plan करने का मौका नहीं. Need to do proper risk assessment first, and then do the plan. That's important to your personal life as well as to the audit. So, equity के कारण plan करें. Equity करना फास्ट risk के करना है. और इसके कर analyze कर लेता हूँ. Equity करना. Equity का market नवातर काट देता हूँ यार. Plan Ingrid करना डायरी लगा हुआ है, मैंने रिस्क कर यार विंडो में डॉक्टर के you should know that after getting applied account in degree, you can't be a doctor. So then you need to assess your risk first and then plan then. So that will make life easy. That's the way you have to follow. Right? That's the topic of the area, planning and discussing. So this is the given objective. These are the objectives, content you need to cover. So at the end of the day, you need to cross check whether I am comfortable with this content. Otherwise, you and me both are failing. Required perform audit financial statement. Overall audit strategy and audit plan. The scope and delivery risk assessment procedure. Period. Financial statement level and assistant level. RPT, going concern, accounting estimate, fair value measurement. Experts, internal auditors, laws and regulations. As auditor, how we can react, how we can use this word, how can get aware about this. Everything should be comfortable of this area, right? Here and there we have some words. We have everything. It will be very simple, and you should have kind of a good understanding about this. Not in the note level, not in the exam perspective, but for the overall angle, right? Once you are presenting to an interview or whatever the forum, audit committee, board committee, you should have knowledge on these aspects. You should have idea to question. So that's a requirement. So then, by getting notes and answering to the paper is the byproduct of the lecture series. That's my expectation. You need to improve yourselves to address the board committee or whatever the forum you are in. You can be a audit and assurance lecturer in another 2-3 years. That's the expectation. To do that, you should know the subject. So that's the expectation. Otherwise, no need to come for lectures. But simply slide deck balana, thousand papers balana. But you have practiced your writing, right? And then you can easily get a pass mark for this audit and assurance subject. You won't get an A or A plus, it works hard. That's typical. That's also can do. But that knowledge should be with you as a permanent asset. So then you should have a responsibility to capitalize your cost spent for the degree. Or asset categorize you need to decide. Makes sense, right? Or degree spend salary. Or other fully capitalized depends on your knowledge and the way you think. How you improve, how you change your behavior, how you gather your skills, how you expand your network. It's really important. They set taker, they badger, to compare change owners that are not over there. That is true. So then you all can start a business. You can compete with the global brand. Then that passion should be came into the picture with this knowledge and attitude. So then if you are still learning to get a job or so broad or very narrow mindset, maybe very that may be option, right? But you have to think more than that. Just this. Whatever the knowledge fact you are getting, that should go to your permanent otherwise permanent. For the sake of getting passed for internal assurance, no need to stay in the lecture. Daily you are in kindergarten. So then, after getting the applied accounting degree, so whatever the forum you are in, CS or all they are done in a enroll. So then, what all the person there? A resourceful person. So then, many departments may reach out to you, get help, right? So then, conclusion and support. So then, you maybe suggested to the next promotion. Then you have to be deserved for promotion. So then you should show your KPIs. So then only you can deserve for promotion. For promotion, in the better than in the take a company 80% value percent. Take a 80% value percent. So then you have to show your color and don't need to request promotion or go behind the promotion. Promotion will come, daily promotion will come, right? So then your delivery is the matter, quality of the delivery. Your quality can't be sacrificed your efficiency. That's a no. That quality can't be sacrificed your efficiency. Next to you. You can't say that because of the deadline I couldn't maintain my quality. Within your protocols, once you are maintaining your quality, you need to achieve the deadline. But audit එක කරන අවුරුදු 5ක් හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ අවුරුදු audit එක ඉක්මනින් deadline එක ඇතුලේ කරලා ඉවරයි. Within the deadline, you have to deliver the same quality. That's the efficiency, right? Anytime, whatever the forum, whatever the situation you are in, you can't sacrifice efficiency for the quality. Quality අඩු කරලා deadline එක ඇතුලේ deliver කරන්න වැඩක්. So that you have to deliver the same quality within the deadline. That's the requirement, right? For that, you have to work hard. If you have a plan to go abroad, make a double window. Quality, skill, next level again. ඒක හදාගෙන යන්න. නැත්නම් මාට ලොකු රිස්ක් එකක් තමයි ගන්න. මට ආයෙත් එහෙන් එළවනවා කියන රිස්ක් එක මිටිගේට් කරන්න stand මාරු. You have to have a super set of skills. You are going abroad. If you are staying here, වැඩ කරන්න නැති set එකක්. එතන වැඩ ඉන්න set එකක්. ඔයාලට ඒක ආසෙන් ඉඳගෙන මොනවා හරි වැඩක් නැත්නම් you can leave here. But the competition එක නැහැ. මොකද මම junior executive කෙනෙක් ගන්න දැන් මාස 3ක් තිස්සේ ඉන්ටර්විව් කරනවා. 45 දිනකට ඉන්ටර්විව් කරලා තියෙනවා. මට ගැලපෙන කෙනෙක් හම්බෙන්නේ. It's a disaster, right? Within a year, Yapura, Calania, ACCA, SIMA, Chartered Staff, they're producing many accountants. It's not up to that skill. So that's a question, right? So that's not, I'm not blaming to these students. I'm blaming to the students. Their objective is so vague. They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan to improve theirs. It's not good. So the countries are not ready to accommodate you free of charge. So they don't want to get no. They want skillful people, talent, to improve their objectives, to develop their countries. If you are not giving that service to them, they are not ready to keep you at least 1 minute. Then they are sending back to your country. Right? So that's sure. So then keep improve yourself. It's really difficult to compete with others. So then imagine the simple things. You can't type with a person from Philippines or Thailand or other the Malaysian country, Malaysia. Those people are typing very speed, very fast. You can't What හැරෙන්නවත් බෑ යාර type කරන්න. යාලා document එක type කරලා ඉවර කරන machine එකක් වගේ. Third speed. Excel හැමදේ. So fast. ඒකට ඔයා දවස් 3ක් කරන වැඩ එයා එක දවසෙක කරලා machine එක. So they complete that. Just typing, right? Not about others, not about audit workings, not about summarization, not about the analysis, something like that. Data analytics, they are super expert. I recently visited Bangkok, so I did some audits with them. He is so competent with data analytics. But I haven't analyze but I am competent with the the evaluations, rationalizations, and comparison, and the technical knowledge. So those things, we are so competent because we came through higher education and everything, so that we have that knowledge. Analytical power is there, so that they can get results. We can do analysis, right? So then, whatever the area, so then you need to specialize. Then you can customize over there. What given the dependent pull ගිහිල්ලා වැඩ වෙන්න නැත්නම් ඔරි වෙනවද දැන් ඒක වැඩ මෙන්න ඉන්නේ මේ කිව්වොත් මොකද දෙයක් කරන්න පුළුවන් මොකද මේ කට්ටිය වැඩ කරන්නේ 80ක් වැඩ කරන්න වෙන්නේ ප්‍රොමෝෂන් වැඩ කරලා ප්‍රොමෝෂන් ගන්න වෙන්නේ පඩිය සැලරි එක 10000 වැඩි වෙනකන් ඉන්නේ ඒ 10000 වැඩි වෙනකන් නැහැ මම 10000 වැඩි කරන්න try කරන්නේ production එක මම 10000 වැඩි කරලාද question එක නැතුව 10000 ඉල්ලන society එකක් තියෙනවා knowledge එක නැහැ government staff එකෙන් salary එක වැඩි වෙනකම් බලන්න අපි දන්නේ salary එක වැඩි වෙනකොට වැඩක් නැහැ කියන එක අපි දන්නේ so we need to deliver more to get more so the real value of the salary is to be focused even idea එකක් නෑ අපේ මිනිස්සු. That's a very pathetic situation in the nation. They don't know the real value of money. They are enjoying temporary nominal value of money. Yeah, bribe එකක් අරගෙන. දැන් airport එකේ පනින තැන ඉඳලා නේ. package එක අරගෙන clear කරලා දීලා tip එකක් ගන්න තමයි try කරන්නේ. Tip එක වැඩක් නැහැ කියලා එයාට ඒක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. Service එකක් අපි service එකේ salary එකක් ගන්නවා. We don't want a tip for that. එයාට ඒක reject කරන්න යාට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඇයි අපි ඒක reject කරන්න ඕන salary එක දෙන්න ඕනද නැත්නම්? Not a duty. එයා ඒක සතුටින් කරන්න ඕන. So then he has a salary for that. Right? So then if he is not giving that much of service, it's a matter of salary scheme, right? Then those things will be corrected from that onwards. Then we need to know so whatever the job you are doing. Taxi driver can get one of the so they are not enjoying their job. So that's a disaster. They are enjoying the fee. All of it is money. And a better country. They are enjoying their given service and the outcome. So the price is they focus about the quality and service, management comments, customer comments and all, right? So then price is another thing. So then you need to focus about your service. You need to satisfy your service end of the day. So the advice I'm giving to my team is always don't try to convince me. Don't want to convince me. We need to convince the outcome. We need to convince the focus outcome, and we need to satisfy the outsiders. So then, after seeing your outcome, you have to satisfy. The matter document you need to satisfy about your outcome. Focus करना. बाकी outcome में can degree करना. So you need to focus about the degree. You need to enjoy the degree. Otherwise, you are not getting the real value. So then my request is be sharp about the content we are discussing here. If any doubts, you can clarify here. You can do mistakes, you can ask questions. So all those things available, you can use. With that request, you can go to audit planning and risk assessment. Right. So here I wanted to give basic understanding about what we are doing here. So as an auditor, as a leader of assurance engagement, we are giving service. We can give this type of audit assurance, but we can't go to this level. We can't give absolute opinion. Why? We do sample-based auditing. We are not going to reduce the audit risk to zero. We discuss audit risk, right? We discuss audit risk, detection risk, control risk, and then inherent risk. We can't reduce this audit risk to zero. Because of that, we can't give 100% audit opinion, absolute audit opinion, or certificate. We are giving what? High level opinion or low level opinion. Are you comfortable with this? High level opinion and low level opinion? The way we are telling, the way we are giving assurance. This is very positive opinion. This is a negative opinion. Negative in the sense we are telling kind of a negative picture. No, the level of assurance we are giving is very less here. So here we are saying that we are giving true and fair view about this financial statement. Here we are telling what? We are telling that nothing has come to our mind to say that this financial statement have a statement according to this framework. Nothing has come to our mind. So then the statements are different in between this. Here high level, here low level. Are you okay with this? So then these are type of outcomes from assurance engagement. You can decide what you are going to deliver. As auditor, you can decide whether you are going to give the positive high level opinion or the negative opinion. So as a doctor, you can decide what doctor is in a panadol then what option ටිකක් ලෙඩා ආවට පස්සේ වා දෙන්න ඕන මේක එකක් තමයි. මා හිතනවා මෙයාට ඩෝස් එක වැඩිපුර දෙන්න ඕන. එහෙමනම් මොකද දෙන්නේ? High level opinion. They based on the requirement, right? As auditor, you have to have a capacity to decide what's the delivery you have to do according to his requirement. He's come up with it. The management and the client don't request anything here. They came and give the request. There's a request from the bank to certify this. They are using kind of a error word. Certify this. Certify this. As auditor, we can't certify. We are not issuing certificate. Why? We can't reduce the risk to the zero. We are issuing assurance report. So then we can give high level assurance or low level assurance. No, it's clear, right? Q&A, if we have five parties, we need the assurance. So then, to take a high level decision, critical decision, we may require a high level assurance. But we can allow the people assurance taking decision make at the back. And people, the American you need to search a person, right? Such a person, and you do kind of a background test. So you are asking from some other people and whether it's good or not, right? Okay. So then to get a decision, permanent decision, what have to do? One high level assurance and what's the certificate එක බලපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. බලවල assurance එක බලන්න. Audit firm එකේ දීලා character certificate එක ගන්නවා. ඔයාලට පස්සේ ආපුවා වෙන ගන්න පුළුවන් character certificate. පොලිස් එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. පොලිස් report එක. ඒවා certificate එකයි. හැබැයි audit එකකින් ගන්න බෑ. වාහන යාළුවෙක්ගේ කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. Then I want to have kind of a relationship with him or her. What do you think? එයා හොඳයිද කියලා. නේ. එයා හොඳයිද කියලා මෙයා කොහොමද කියන්නේ? කරලා තියනවා lectures එනවා. Nothing has come to my mind to say that he's not good. It means you're not that comfortable with that, right? It is strong man or male. How are you, you know? Jana, what Jana? So he's very active and coming to each and every lecture, asking questions and supporting to each other. It's a very current scene in it, opinion. How about that? That's a high level assurance. Ultimately, I will make a certificate there, member. But it is really good. That's right. Assurance engagement. Come on. We are giving high level assurance, not low level assurance. To take a critical decision, you should depend on a high level assurance. Right? That's about it. Right. As I discussed, in assurance engagement, we have 5 main areas. What are they? There should be a tri-party relationship. There should be a subject matter and the suitable criteria and evidence and a written report. You can get best. So the tri-party engagement, subject matter, suitable criteria and evidence and the related report. So then whatever the engagement, assurance or high level assurance or low level assurance, you can identify each and every element. So in a statutory audit engagement, external audit, statutory financial reporting audit. So what are the elements? What are the tri-parties? Auditor, management and stakeholders. Right? And subject matter is a set of financial statements, including transactions, account balances, and disclosures. Suitable criteria. Normally, for assurance engagement, we need to have a suitable criteria. We need to have a benchmarking guideline to benchmark. Always we are giving true and fair view to a benchmark. So that's a must. So whatever the given guideline you are giving, otherwise it's very depend, right? So we need to be very fixed what you are giving, whatever the opinion you are giving. So then you need to fix with the suitable criteria. For statutory audit, it's teleparis and health case. So I did a NG audit or whatever some other audits. So then my criteria range may not be LKS and IFRS. So the NG audit, whatever the headquarters, they have given guideline, right? So they have kind of a reporting manual, right? Reporting manual. According to that, they don't have long-term asset or accrued expense. They do record this transaction on cash basis, right? So this is the guideline they have. So then the headquarters request to do audit. So then, what's the subject matter? The financial statement. And who are the prime parties? Auditors, headquarters, and the local branch. Right? So then, the According to that, what's the suitable criteria? We are issuing the audit opinion according to the given guideline by the headquarters, not the SLA and cases. Right. And then you need to gather sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Sufficient always as the quantity, appropriateness always as the quality. Right. And then end of the day, after concluding everything, we need to issue the statutory audit report. So those are the key elements of a assurance engagement. Before you are planning and risk assessment, you should know these key elements. Right? So then here we have mentioned here the tri-party arrangement. This is because of the agency relationship. This requires basically statutory audit assurance engagement requires because of the agency relationship. The owners are differs from the management. Owners request to do a kind of an independent view of their performance. To do that, agency relationship always create a tri-party relation. Direct. Because of that, we should have assurance engagement. Here we have main key elements of the assurance process. As I said, planning and risk assessment, execution and conclusion. We can divide to this risk assessment, plan on procedures, conduct audit procedures, assess results, and express the opinion. Key steps as a process. So then here we have the final outcome of a statutory audit. What is that? Audit opinion. So before you are planning and doing the risk assessment, you need to visualize the final outcome. We are in the process of learning the audit and assurance process to issue this report. What is that? That's called audit opinion. It consisted with the opinion, basis for opinion, key audit matters, other information, right? Management responsibility, auditor's responsibility, signature, and other paragraphs, other information, partners details, many details are there. So the audit report may be issued with the clean opinion, qualified, unqualified, adverse. Different types of audit opinions are there. So my request is you can go through audit opinion and you can identify what are these elements. So then you are supposed to issue that audit opinion after series of activities. So before you are reaching to this, you know what it is, and then you can assess the risk and plan procedures accordingly. Without knowing this, blindly you can't go away the path. So then you need to know what it is, and then you can plan and you can escape. So that's why I want to highlight the outcome first, and then you can plan it. So that is almost 3-4, right? Yes, we have. Again, the non-statement, since auditors can't issue an absolute opinion because of this limitation. Right? They are not going to issue a certificate because internal limitations, yeah, based on the samples, not all items in the FS are tested. We do sample testing, right? Auditing is sort of objective judgment have to be made. Auditor is not, the purely object oriented. It's judgment based, right? Because of that, we can't issue a certificate. Absolute opinion. And basically, these are the regulations for auditors. As auditor, so we are responsible to comply with auditing standards. distributed by Sri Lanka auditing standard. Is a carbon copy of international auditing standards, right? So then, auditors were governed by /MB. It's an organization established to separate act. So, is a governing entity. Governing entity established based on the Accounting and Auditing Act. So, /MB. So, they are focused about SBE, special business entities. Auditors are doing correct audit procedures and adequate audit procedures. So then they do sample testing. So as auditor, we have to be responsible to do audit in line with the auditing standard, right? So then guideline is there, monitoring function is there. So then as auditor, we have to respect our profession. And auditors are good at value. අනින්නේ ඔඩිටර්ස් ලා විතරයි. හැබැයි ප්‍රොෆෙෂන් එක තාම කරප්ට් වෙලා නැහැ. ඔඩිටර්ස් පොලිසිය පොඩ්ඩක් කරප්ට් වෙලා නැහැ. They are also a kind of a set of people here to do the control mechanism, monitoring function. But as a profession, as a whole, there were some bad practices and they don't have a clean name. But auditors don't have that. But some issues were there. Some scandals were there. Before Big Four, we had Big Five, right? Arthur Anderson, another Big Five firms we had. Because of Enron scandal, Arthur Anderson audit firm closed down. So then after that, we have a Big Four. So such kind of issues were there, but taking actions. Because of that, we have a control mechanism around auditors. Because of that, we have a good name in the society. Society still trusts on auditor. Such kind of a profession. So then you can learn it. It's up to you to decide if you want to be auditor or not, right? That's it for this area. So then you can refer auditing standard from this site. So then as a background for audit planning and risk assessment, I completed. So then if you have further question, you can ask in the next lecture. So detailed audit planning and risk assessment areas will be discussed in next lecture. It's really important, right? Today I discussed the basic stuff about planning and risk assessment. The detailed content will be discussed in the next lecture. So I'm planning to complete like 50% for this lecture. It's a very important lecture. So then you are like to join, up to you to decide. I hope your participation. That's it for today. So people who join virtually, today that's it. So we'll meet up with the effective session next week. Next week you are not having lectures, right? Supposed to get skilled on participating in refreshment stalls and so doing lantern, right? Arm screens. Hopefully make it. Do these things. But catch these things from correct angle, right? Your current religion, monomahari, karana deval with a huge intention, the outcome and intention should be very clear. If you hold a case, right? Not like a layman. Don't take decision from the Facebook, right? Think twice, use skepticism, do your best, and Those are very, good things. Use that as a very positive way to get relaxed and change your, attitudes and give things to others. Those are good practices, but need to catch those things from the correct angle. Alathuruvat scene again, Alathuruvat puja karna, that's good. To eat, A level eකට හිතන්න එපා. So then need to be religion need to be a kind of a tool you can use for your betterment. Each and every religion very perfect. I respect all those things. Fasting una koncham hondha deyada. The concept, the religion guideline is a super thing. So that you can join with them and you can do practice fasting. Right? It's a good, very good thing. But you need to catch that from a good angle. Again, ඇයි පිළිදෙන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකෙන් අල්ලගන්න. ඒකෙන් කියලා වෙන නිකන් මිත් එකක් ෆලෝ කරන එක useless. Like in each and every religion, there are many things to learn and get. So then, follow those things. And all the things guide you to develop yourself. If you are catching those things from the wrong angle, definitely those will ruin your life. Okay. So that's it for today.